do our best with Senator Holly Hughes from New South Wales,
Good
Keith
evening.
Pitt joining us, of course, as well from Queensland and beautiful Bundy. So, Keith, how do you feel about even the possibility of us bringing back ISIS brides and ISIS kids to the country? And they got caught red-handed. They never wanted this to be known, and no one has had the balls to stand up and talk about it from the government for the past 3 days, bar the Environment Minister, who last time I checked is not involved in this decision.
Paul, great to be with you. And you know, the people, they know about this. They're not happy. And it's up to Mr Albanese in the Labor government. They have to explain how this decision to bring people from Syrian detention camps to Australia makes every Australian safer. I mean, there are 25 million Australians here. They have to be the priority. And these are tough and difficult decisions. There's no doubt about it. But that's what you do in government. Every day and every other day, you have to make very, very difficult decisions. I mean, we all remember the footage of young kids standing around with body parts and horrible, horrible images. I mean, how is this better for our country?
Yeah, and Peter Dutton isn't missing when he's talking about this. Remember, national security, his bread and butter. This is what he did better than anyone who's ever done it for our country. And he knows this is not the right thing to do.
It's also the case that in Australia here we have a number of high-risk offenders who have been charged with terrorist offences, who have served out their jail terms, who will be coming into the Australian community over the next few years. Now, that can cost millions of dollars on an individual case for ASIO and for the Australian Federal Police and the other agencies to monitor those individuals. And if you go to bring in dozens more of those cases of people who potentially pose a threat in our country, we need to understand how it is, with limited resources, ASIO and the Australian Federal Police can provide the guarantees to keep the Australian public safe.
Bloody oath. Keep going, mate. Keep going on that. Keep going on cost of living. Keep going on broken promises. The media mightn't be there, but I can tell you what, the good people watching this show are absolutely cheering you on. Being able to get some on the chin of this mob. Now let's talk about the AFL, where the AFL, Holly, has made a decision where they've got a whole bunch of independent people to come in and do a review, and I can guarantee you now what the conclusion of it will be into Hawthorn, which is Hawthorn did everything wrong. They believe everything that's ever been said in any possible way, and they're going to go back and look at things from 1983 and pretend it's 2022.
Well, what's interesting as well is some people who've made the claims are apparently saying they're not going to participate in the inquiry. Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, correct.
I mean, you get these people making accusations, making claims against people, naming those people, yet when it comes to doing inquiries into their claims, they refuse to participate. It's completely unfair the way this is being conducted. The people that were named, and I apologise, I can't remember their names, which they should be grateful for, but I'm not a big AFL person and I'm from Sydney. So, you know, those of us outside of the Melbourne AFL is a religion bubble probably don't remember. But, you know, the fact that they were named, their careers are now potentially ruined. They'll have had a stain on their reputation that'll last and carry with them all their lives. We never even questioned, never had the issues put to them. And then this inquiry, the people that have made the accusations are now refusing to participate. So I just think we have to stop this. We have to stop allowing people to make accusations that may or may not be unfounded, but it's up to them to ultimately participate in inquiries to be able to prove those claims and not just get a free kick at someone they may or may not just not like.
Yeah, correct. But Keith, doesn't it also work here where obviously there was an original report that was supposed to be behind closed doors that ended up going to the media, obviously somebody shepherding that process through. But let's be honest, take your pick when it comes to former politicians, football organisations or anything else. The real court is the court of public opinion. That is very swift to make judgment. There's rotten fruit to be thrown at the stocks within 15 minutes of any allegation being made. And then the formal process is just something to worry about later. We live in mob justice world now, don't we?
Oh, it's Salem witch trials all over, and I think the proposed ICAC sounds very similar. But, mate, I think the only thing that could make this worse, and they're very serious accusations. Imagine if they were Christians and declared Christians. They wouldn't make the team list, particularly if it went to Essendon. I mean, it's just ludicrous. These are such serious issues. They're usually kept in-house until the facts are established. And right now, you've got a whole heap of people out there whose careers have potentially been ruined by those statements.
All right, last one here. The New South Wales government says that they've got some moral problems with poker machines, particularly the poker machine industry, as they say, which doesn't do enough to help problem gamblers. What's interesting here is, of course, just like smoking taxes for federal governments, gambling taxes for state governments means because they become the biggest addict because there's lots of money to be made here. I have never hidden the idea that I don't mind a slap. Big fan of pokey wins on Instagram, but never have I got myself into trouble, but I know people do. Quickly, simply here. Holly, pro, anti-pokies?
Look, I support them in the fact that they're a legal mechanism for gambling. There should be support for people that have a problem with that. I was in Tasmania when the Labor Party proposed it there at an election to ban pokies, and they were relegated to the very, very back boondocks of the parliament. So it's not something that's even electorally popular because there are lots of people, and I was outdoor knocking in areas where people like to go and put $5, $10 in the pokies when they go down on a Friday night. They buy their meat raffle tickets or whatever it is, and they were telling me they go down to the kids, put their $5 or $10 in, and that's sort of a bit of
nothing wrong with a red
entertainment for
lobster
them.
every now and then.
I got to tell you, my mum was a big fan. Her and her sister, if we all ever went down to the sailing club, you could find Mum and Auntie Jan over with their $5 in the pokey.
God love them, all right. Well, the reels have rolled their way. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it, guys. Quick break, back with more.